On behalf of the City of Ann Arbor, thank you, Chris. I would like to thank you all for joining us in this opportunity to engage with you, the community members and neighbors. These traffic calming projects rely on resident feedback, and we appreciate and encourage participation. My name is Christina, and I will be presenting tonight. I work for Wade Trim, an engineering firm based here in Southeast Michigan. The traffic calming team for Brandywine Drive is a partnership between the City of Ann Arbor and Wade Trim. We have been contracted by the city to assist with the city's traffic calming program. This includes data collection, design work, project management, hosting public meetings, and sending out communications to the public. From Wade Trim, team members include Chris, Lori, Christy, and myself. So if you see our names or the Wade Trim name throughout this project, just know that we are working on behalf of the City of Ann Arbor. With this partnership, we are working closely with City of Ann Arbor staff. There are a number of city staff members and departments we coordinate with throughout these projects, but specifically, we have been working with Andrea and Chris, who started the recording of this meeting for me. Here is our meeting agenda for tonight. Most of tonight's time will be dedicated to Section 4, the preliminary plan, where we will review and discuss each traffic device. If you're joining from a computer or using the Zoom app, there are two ways of asking questions and providing feedback. You can press the raised hand button at the bottom of your screen. This will notify the host, me. You can also lower your hand with the same button. When recognized to speak, the host will allow you to unmute. If you would rather type a question or comment, you can press the Q&A button. A chat box will appear, and you can type the message into that box and press send to submit the message. If you would like to send your feedback anonymously, please make sure to check that box. For any attendees dialing in by phone, you may request to speak by dialing *9. You will be recognized to speak by the last 3 digits of your phone number, and the host will unmute you. You will not be able to use the Q&A function. As a sidebar, if you are calling in and you wish to remain anonymous, there's no need to introduce yourself. Most people who call in say their first and last name and where they live. That's not required. You don't need to do that. But if you want to, feel free. But if you wish to remain anonymous, please don't. There will be multiple points throughout the presentation where community feedback will be requested through Zoom's polling feature. If you are on a computer or using the Zoom app and the poll is launched, it will automatically pop up. After you answer the polling question, press Submit. When the poll closes, results will automatically pop up. Press Close to stop viewing results. For attendees dialing in by phone, the host will read the question and available responses out loud. To participate in the poll, press *9. The host will recognize you by the last 3 digits of your phone number and unmute you, allowing you to answer the polling question. The host will place you back on mute after. Please note that computer polling and app polling is anonymous during the meeting, but dial by phone polling is not. As a test, we will launch our first poll. Do you live in the project area, Brandywine Drive between Yost and Packard? Yes or no? Thank you everyone for participating in the poll. Everybody lives in the project area. During the presentation, and especially during any feedback from your fellow community members, please keep these Zoom norms in mind. We have started on time and we endeavor to end on time. Raise your hand to be recognized to speak, and there will be only one speaker at a time. If possible, move to a quiet area and silence any background sounds when speaking. Speak loud and clear so we can all hear you. Everyone will be provided a chance to speak before there is a repeat speaker. Please be respectful of other ideas and perspectives. Try to differentiate between I know, facts, and I think, opinions. Inappropriate written and/or verbal comment or language, including personal attacks and accusations, will result in the attendee being removed from the meeting. Please use the Q&A function freely. We will keep it monitored throughout the meeting. To keep with our meeting schedule, we may wait for dedicated breaks in the presentation to answer questions live or recognize speakers. If there are any questions or comments at this point, please use the Q&A function or raise your hand. This is the preliminary plan that was mailed to project area addresses and marked on the street for the self-guided tour. During meeting number 1, there was interest in relocating device number 1 closer to the median at Packard. Due to constructability and grading concerns, device number 1 could not be placed against the median, but has been moved closer to Packard Street. This device avoids driveways and is 285 feet from Packard. Devices 2 and 3 were also adjusted, with device 3 moving closer to the curve on Brandywine, as was requested during meeting 1. So what are these devices? These devices are speed humps. A typical speed hump is shown on the left, and an example from the real world on Wells Street is shown on the right. Speed humps are typically 12 feet long, 3 inches high, and have a parabolic or rounded shape, and extend the full width of the street except for the gutter. Studies have found the benefits of speed hump treatments may include speed reduction, traffic volume reduction, and crash reduction. Some other notes regarding speed humps are: the height is designed for ease of bike usage and bicycle safety. When I use the phrase parabolic, I don't mean just a half circle dropped in the middle of the road. It is tapered and narrowed at each driving edge, so it's not just a wall of speed hump in your way as you're driving down the street. If previously permitted, vehicles can park on speed humps, and trash cans can be placed on speed humps if necessary. If there are any questions about the device we just reviewed, please raise your hand or use the Q&A function. This next section will be a review of devices in our proposed plan and audience polling for support on each device. Device number 1 is a speed hump near 2912, 2906, and 2911 Brandywine Drive. Do you support device number 1? Available answers are: yes, I support this device and live in the project area. Yes, I support this device and do not live in the project area. No, I do not support this device and I live in the project area. And no, I do not support this device and I do not live in the project area. Thank you everyone for participating in this poll. Device number 2 is a speed hump near 2834, 2824, and 2827 Brandywine Drive. Do you support device number 2? All available previous options still apply. If there are any questions, please raise your hand or use the Q&A function. Thank you everyone for participating in this poll. Device number 3 is the speed hump at the curve. So near 2724, 2715 Brandywine Drive. Do you support device number 3? Wow, everyone is lightning fast on the voting. Thank you for participating again. Device number 4 is the final speed hump near 2636 and 2641 Brandywine Drive. Interesting. If the person who does not support this device would like to share their opinions and thoughts anonymously, I really encourage that. I would like to know why this specific speed hump isn't what you're looking for. All right, you are unmuted and you are free to speak. It looks like you may not have selected the unmute button. You are available to do so if you would like to provide your comments.
Did you get it now?
Oh, yep, I can hear you now. Thank you.
Okay. I live on Galway Court, and I noticed that when I turn off of there, that hump is right there, and it's already super close to the one on the corner, which is high enough that it rocks my car as I'm turning from 0 to get on there. So I don't understand why we need a hump that close to the intersection, especially since it's so close to the pulling out of the court.
Thank you very much. So the devices are suggested to be placed between 250 feet and 500 feet apart. The preferred interval is between 300 and 400. It was mentioned in the initial polling that people turning onto Brandywine off of these more through streets, so Yost and Packard, they accelerate rather fast onto Brandywine and then don't really hit their brakes when they hit the curve. And this speed hump is to encourage people to hit their brakes before they hit the curve on Brandywine. But there's not a lot of places to put one because Galway Court is right there. And then we have another speed hump right before the curve on Brandywine coming from the other direction. The speed hump number 4, as it is placed, is 35 feet away from Galway Court. So if you're turning off of Galway, you shouldn't hit it while turning, which can unsettle a car even more. But it will be there if it is accepted by the public. And it will be a little bit shorter than the raised intersection at Yost. Speed humps are a little bit lower in elevation.
It's still really hard pulling out of there because I've been paying attention since you put the little flags up there. And it is, when turning off the court, it's very close. 35 feet. Well, I'm not going to hit it turning out of the court. I'm hitting it right there as soon as I get onto the road.
I understand your concerns. Is there a preferred location in your mind for where this would make more sense? And I'll click back to the overview slide so we can see the project as a whole and see how they are spaced out.
Um, so the problem is that you've got it so close to the intersection, but then also very close. So to me, when I'm turning out of the court, it feels like it's going to be right there. There's going to be one thing right after the other. And I personally, I'd prefer to not have one right there. We've got the curve and we've got the raised intersection. And it seems to me, when I'm driving that area, to be a little bit overkill to have that fourth one.
I understand your perspective, and I will try to incorporate your comments into the final design. Thank you very much.
Mhm.
All right, so that was device number 4. And that kind of brings us to the end of today's meeting. Does anyone else have any questions or comments about the proposed devices that you were shown today? I know we did have a late straggler. Hello, Paula. Not to call you out, I know you were going to be late. I'll click back again just to give a broad overview. This is the layout as it stands. Again, does anyone have any questions or comments? And we'll address any concerns with layout and spacing in the final design to the best of our ability. All right, you can unmute yourself.
Yeah, I was just wondering if you could explain how many more steps, like how close we are to actually finalizing this. And then I just want to comment with that fourth speed bump. I hear what the concern was. The problem isn't for us that live here. You know, I know it's kind of an inconvenience, but it's for the people that fly through. And unfortunately, there's a lot more of them than there really is us. So for me, I feel like that, although they can be annoying, the purpose that they're going to serve overrides that, especially with your comment about how far apart they really should be. If there's only 3 of them and there's a big space, people are just going to fly around, you know, speed up between the speed bumps, really kind of eliminating the whole purpose. That's just my perspective on that.
Thank you very much for your perspective. I will go to the slide I was just at, which has a detail of the remaining schedule. So what are the next steps? The next steps are a final polling card will be mailed to the project area addresses on June 3rd. So following today's presentation, we will post the presentation and the recording to the project website in the next week or so. We will also post a summary of today's polling and use feedback to finalize the design. Once the final plan is ready, we will post it to the project website. And we will also mail, like I said, that final questionnaire on June 3rd. You will then have the opportunity to complete that poll either by mail or online with a deadline of June 23rd to either complete it electronically or postmark your response. Woo! And once we receive all of that information and organize it on July 7th, results should be posted to the project website. So while you're on your July 4th vacation, please make sure to check your project website to see the results. The requirement to move forward is that of those who participate in polling, there needs to be a 50% or greater approval rate of the final plan. If that requirement is met, our team will then prepare a cost estimate to be presented to City Council for budgeting and scheduling. Someone else has their raised hand, so You can feel free to unmute yourself whenever you want.
Yes, I live at 2911 Brandywine. And we have one of the speed humps that's going to be, like not quite even 2 car lengths from our driveway, maybe a little more than one. And to be honest, yeah, it's an inconvenience, but to me, it's worth it because I look out my window when I'm sitting here quilting and I see so many cars racing down the street. And we have a lot more young kids in the neighborhood now. And it's a motorcycle was just, I mean, they were having fun with their motorcycle and accelerating, but they were way over the speed limit. And we constantly see people speeding. And so I'm glad you're doing this project and I fully support it.
Thank you very much. As a motorcyclist, I really resent that most motorcyclists give us a bad name. The speed humps are safe for them to travel over. I have driven over more than a few myself, quite safely and effectively, but never going over 25 miles an hour. So they are effective for both motorcycles and vehicles. Thank you very much for your comments. If anyone has any additional comments or questions after today, please call or send me an email. If you would like email notifications about upcoming mailing packages, you can type your email in the Q&A box or send me an email to add you. If you have any additional questions or comments, the meeting will remain open probably for the next 10 minutes. Otherwise, you may leave at any time. Thank you very much for your time and participation this evening. We really appreciate your care and interest in this project, and we hope you enjoy the rest of your night. I know we had a couple late stragglers, so if you want to pop into that Q&A box and request that I run through everything real quick again. I don't think I can launch polling once everyone starts leaving the meeting, but I can go through the information provided if you would like that. All right, I know our straggler doesn't need me to run through the rest of the presentation. So if you have any questions or comments, I'll start that 10-minute timer right now. And if not, I really hope you enjoy the rest of your night. Thank you.
Christina, I was wondering what you did to publicize the meeting tonight, because I don't recall receiving an email or anything. I mean, I had it on my calendar, and fortunately, a neighbor sent me the link. But, there was a letter that came out a month ago or something.
Hi, maybe I can answer this question. So typically the way we distribute information is through the traffic calming website. And then typically we send it on the postcards so that residents have that information. But we can look at other avenues to increase engagement. How did you hear about the meeting, if you don't mind me asking?
I participated in the first meeting, so I
Okay,
had the
of course.
information and put it on my calendar.
Mhm.
But I was just thinking, it's like, oh man, I got to find where I put the letter that had the site. And fortunately, a neighbor sent me her link to get in, and she said she posted that to our neighborhood Facebook page, which I don't use Facebook, and I sent that link to 5 other neighbors right here on my street, sort of all the neighbors across the street and beside me.
I apologize. I answered your question entirely on mute, and that is my fault. So that letter that you received about a month ago was the notification for this meeting. Everyone in your neighborhood and within the project area was sent that letter. Whether they received it or opened that, I have no control over, unfortunately. And there is an email list. Based off of my knowledge of that email list, I don't know if your email is on it. If you would like to type it into the Q&A, you can be notified via email in addition to the sent out letters. Moving forward.
Well, I don't know that it matters that much now because, you know, this is the one where people were supposed to vote. Did you have enough people participating in this meeting to do what needs to be done to move forward? I mean, because I know we're going to have the postcards coming out.
So this meeting was to gain additional feedback for the design itself. This is not obviously all the results are recorded, and I'm going to take this into account when creating the final design. But it's not voting for the project to move forward in that sort of context.
Yes.
That will be the final polling letter sent out June 3rd. So
yes,
anytime after June 3rd, if you could keep an eye on your mailbox.
Oh, absolutely.
The letter will have both the Ann Arbor logo and the Wade Trim logo on it. And it'll be sent to just your address. It won't have your name on the front.
And this is Christina, right? Because I talked with you when you were out spray painting in front of our house when you were sort of marking the pavement and all. I came out and just said hello and appreciated this. So
yes, ma'am, you have the lovely rain garden.
Yes, we have 2 big rain gardens, and in the back there's even more. So more rocks and things to slow down the rain and hopefully get more groundwater that retention that way. But
completely understandable. I am unfortunately needing to dissuade my husband from installing a rain garden right through the middle of our deck.
that could be a problem.
Just a small trip hazard, ma'am. Just a small one.
But hopefully, I hope this goes through and that neighbors, most of the people I talk to support it because they see the problem. And I understand the one woman's concern about pulling out and having the speed hump there. But when I looked at your diagram, it doesn't look like it's that close. And by the time I back out of my driveway and start to go into the north, it's pretty much the same sort of situation, but I don't accelerate that fast when I get started anyways. So we're happy to put up with it just to keep kids in the neighborhood safe.
I do understand her perspective. They can be a little annoying depending on the vehicle you drive if you have to turn over it every day.
Oh yes.
But I drive a Ford Fusion sedan. So if that thing can cross it at a turn, I have faith that most other vehicles can, besides possibly some select Porsches. So,
well, I have a Prius, so mine is not a high riding vehicle either. But yeah, it's nice that you have this program, and I appreciate that people have an opportunity for feedback.
And thank you very much for your support. It was lovely talking to you here and also out in the field.
All right, well, we'll watch for the June 3rd letter or thereabouts. So thank you.
Very good. Thank you.
Bye now.